Oh, hey, how are you doing? Welcome back. It's that time of the week. We need to go ahead and get started on cooking dinner. Video is going to be all about the dinners we eat in this kitchen that I make from scratch with a little help. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Gravy in the Kitchen. Stick around, it's going to be a good video. Whole week of dinners we're going to make together. So tonight we're going to have a whole cut up, what I call fryer parts chicken. We're going to cook this in the oven with some G. Hughes sweet chilies. In this pot I have some carrots and some celery. Just going to put one of our homemade broth. Let that cook. We're going to make a stuffing and chicken for dinner. So the chicken I took out of the freezer 2 days ago and just left it in the bag in the refrigerator until it completely thawed. I do want to dry them before I put them in the oven. Now there are no wings in this chicken because when we buy our whole chicken, when we're cutting it up, we will actually put the wings separate. So this is just breast, thighs, and legs. And the breast I cut in half. They're too big for one portion. I want to get them as dry as possible. All right, that looks good. Let me wash my hands. So we're just going to use this store-bought G. Hughes sweet chili. So I'm just going to put some in this bowl right here. Maybe about a cup. That looks about right. And I have my basting brush or my paintbrush. Put the large cast iron skillet in the oven. Let it preheat it to 350 degrees. So it is hot. Not going to worry about putting any oil or in here because this is a whole cut up chicken. So it has a lot of fat left on it. Bone side down, I want to paint on the skin. You know what? Hold up. We need to salt and pepper this. Remember that pan is hot. Don't touch it. All right, so let's put some salt on this one side. Remember the hands are clean. We do not want to cross-contaminate our spices and herbs. A little bit of pepper. All right, perfect. Now we can paint on the skin side or the meaty side of our chicken. That looks good. Now we're going to put skin side down in this hot skillet. Oh, listen to that, family. Ooh, it is starting to smell good in here already. Salt and pepper the back side. And some sweet chili. Back in a 350 degree oven with no cover. We're going to let that cook until they're well done. Breast needs to be 160 to 165. Thighs need to be 175 or higher. Let me get everything clean and we're going to go ahead and get started on that stuffing. I think the chicken's going to take about an hour, but I'll let you know how long it took. We're going to flip them over so we're not boiling the chicken in the juices and having soggy skin. So we just got them on the skin side down. Then we're going to flip them about halfway through and continue to cook them until it reaches the temperature. But let me get the kitchen reset and get everything clean and wash those dishes, and we're going to start working on that side dish, which we are having stuffing or dressing, whatever you want to call it. I have carrots and celery with some turkey chicken broth on the stove to soften those vegetables. And once that happens, we'll get everything assembled and get that in the oven. So I brought another jar of turkey chicken broth just in case we need it. So this is some sourdough artisan bread we made a couple weeks ago. We didn't eat it all, so I cubed it and toasted them in the oven at 250 degrees until they were completely dry. And I just store them in gallon-sized bags until I'm ready to use it. Now I'm ready to use it. So the carrots and the celery were in the freezer. So I just had them cooking in this broth till they softened up a bit. I'm gonna season it with lots of salt and pepper. Trying to hydrate those dry cubes. I'm going to add a teaspoon and a half of onion powder. And a teaspoon and a half of garlic powder. I'm going to add a teaspoon of rosemary. I don't think we need that other quart of stock. We are good. Let's get a baking sheet prepared. So I'm going to drizzle some avocado oil. Smells delicious, family. I'm going to put this in this oven, 350 degrees, right beside the sweet chili chicken, and let this cook. I know this is going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. Hopefully the chicken will be done close to the same time, but if not, that's okay. We can wait. And dinner is prepared in the oven. I'll ask the husband when it's time to eat dinner if he wants something on the side. We do have some frozen vegetables we can have. If he doesn't, that's fine. If he'd rather have macaroni and cheese, we can make that too. But if he doesn't, that's also fine. We eat simple here. We don't do 5-course meals. We have a protein and a carb. If we have vegetables, that's okay. If we don't have a vegetable, that's fine too. So this needs to go back into the pantry. And now we're just going to wait until everything is ready to be flipped, taken out, and enjoyed. The chicken's been in the oven for 45 minutes. We'll give them a flip. About another 1/3 cup of sweet chili sauce. I'm going to paint this side. Smells so good. Just going to go ahead and take its temperature just to see where we are at, so we'll know how long we need to cook it for, because I know they're not done. It's only been 45 minutes. Not quite ready. Back in the oven, and we'll check it again in another 30 minutes. The stuffing has been in the oven for an hour. I want to cook it a little bit longer without the aluminum foil. smells delicious. I do like to give it a little toss so it's not cooking too heavily on the bottom and on the sides. Dropping breadcrumbs. It's still a little soggy, so I'm going to put it back in the oven without the aluminum foil just to toast it up a bit. We'll give it another 30 minutes and then we'll check on that. And while we're in here, let's check on the chicken. Ooh, that looks pretty. Chicken has been in there for an hour and 15 minutes. 45 minutes the skin side down, and then 30 minutes skin side up. Just checking the temperature. The breast is reading 150. We're not there yet. Let's check this thigh right here. The thigh is reading 180. They're done, but I'm not ready to pull them out. Let's check a drumstick also while we're here. That's reading 170. So I'm gonna put it back in the oven. So in about 30 more minutes, dinner will be ready. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and make macaroni and cheese. So we're gonna go ahead and make the cheese sauce for the macaroni and cheese. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter, good pinch of salt and pepper, 2 tablespoons of flour, I have the pasta already cooked in the sink, straining. I'm doing 8 ounces of pasta. This was all the milk we had left, so I had to go pick up milk just now. I already separated the heavy cream from this half gallon. We'll put about a total of maybe 2 cups of milk. I have about a cup and a half of sharp cheddar cheese. Just going to add that in there. And about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, just what I had in the refrigerator. Just want to get that all nice and melted. We'll add some more milk if we need to. And then we need to taste it for salt and pepper. Needs a little bit of salt and just a small pinch of pepper. Oh, that came together so fast and so easy. This was 8 ounces of pasta that was cooked and drained. Ooh, that pan is hot. And the starch from the pasta will thicken this up. So beautiful. Dropping noodles. That is done. How fast was that, family? There is our beautiful sweet chili chicken. I do want to thicken this sauce up in here, so I'm going to remove the chicken for right now. Look how beautiful and gorgeous color. I'm going to turn the burner on. And I want this to reduce and thicken up just a little bit. make more like a syrupy type, because this is all the chicken juices and the sweet chili sauce. So I got it on medium, and we're just going to let that cook until it reduces and thickens up. Let's go ahead and remove the heavy cream from this one. We already did the first one. Now we need to do this one. If you can find a local raw milk and local eggs and local proteins, please, family, get involved and try to find it. It would be so much better for your health, for your family's health, because in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, we have a choice to make in our homes. You can spend the money on getting quality ingredients, or you can spend the money on doctors. Here lately I've been labeling the heavy cream before I put it in the freezer, because I'm not doing a very good job at rotating and know what's old and what's new. So I'm dating them the day I pick up my milk, not the day the milk was drawn, but the day I pick it up. And that way I could go through it and know what needs to be used first. So another pint of heavy cream going into the freezer. And the stuffing is done. Stuffing took an hour and a half. That was an hour covered with aluminum foil, and then 30 minutes uncovered in a 350-degree oven. Chicken took an hour and 40 minutes. I cooked them for 45 minutes with the skin side down, and then flipped them skin side up and cooked it for another 50 minutes, I think it is, an hour and 40 minutes. Took the chicken out of the pan. I have it sitting right here on the plate, and I'm trying to reduce that chili sauce so we can have more of a glaze versus a liquid. And it's starting to thicken up, as you can tell. It's been on here for about 10 minutes. I do want to taste it for any seasoning, because the only thing we have is the salt and pepper and the sweet chili sauce on the chicken. But I want to make sure this glaze is going to be flavorful. Family, that is really good. Does need a little bit of salt and pepper. You know, we make up recipes in this kitchen. I will leave the recipe in the description below, but I feel like this needs a little something else. I have some balsamic vinegar. Let's add about a quarter of a cup. Let's see what that turns into. Everything is edible. Just might not be something we will do again, but everything is edible. And getting in your kitchen and just playing around with different recipes, so much fun. You'll find your new favorite, or you'll find one that, no, we're not doing that one again. But you won't know until you get in there and try it. Wow, that is very interesting. Oh, I should have marinated the chicken with that. Oh, yummy. I want that just a little bit more thicker. So we're gonna let it go for about another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll check it then. So the glaze has thickened. Look how thick that is. So beautiful. Just put that right on top of our chicken. This pan is too heavy for me to try to pick up with one hand. And that, family, is what's for dinner. Homemade macaroni and cheese, some stuffing, sweet chili, balsamic glazed chicken. I don't know about you, but I am excited. Listen to the crunch. Let's make us a nice, beautiful plate. Some stuffing, macaroni and cheese, and we'll get a piece of chicken. We'll do a breast. It might look elaborate, it might look fancy, it might look too over the top in some opinions, but these are ingredients we have in our house anyway, so we can make a beautiful, delicious, healthy, over the top meal because we know, we have the knowledge, because we have gotten into our kitchen and we've experimented with this recipe and that recipe, and we can get in there with the ingredients that we have in our house and make something beautiful and delicious. I'm dying to try this chicken. Who would have thought sweet chili and balsamic vinegar? Family, that is so good. We make macaroni and cheese on a regular basis around here. We know this is good. And our stuffing. The bread is moist and soft with some crunchy bits in it. Flavor is delicious. I'm speechless. This is delicious. Well, this is enough food to last us for a couple days. So we won't be in the kitchen for a couple days. But I'll bring you right back when we're ready to make another meal together. Let me call the husband in here. Let's fix him a plate. Sit down and have dinner. If I can pry myself away from this fork. And the husband did like the chicken we made the other day with the sweet chili sauce and that balsamic glaze. Loved it. We've been eating on it for 2 days. I love leftovers. So today we're going to start off by cooking a breakfast. No, we don't usually eat breakfast as a sit-down meal in this house. It's more like grab and go. Eat a leftovers from the day before, French toast that's in the freezer, you know, just something simple. But we're actually going to make biscuits and gravies and scrambled eggs. Come on in. Let's get this going. So we need 2 cups of flour. We need a stick of butter. I am going to go ahead and grate this butter in here just to make it easier on myself. We need 2 tablespoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. This is a buttermilk biscuit recipe. I don't carry buttermilk in my house, so we're just going to make it with regular milk and vinegar. 3/4 cups of milk, and we need a tablespoon of white vinegar. I'm just going to eyeball it. We're going to set that aside. I have a very cold butter that's been in the refrigerator, and I am going to grate this right on the flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. Just makes breaking it in the flour mixture easier. Just watch out for your knuckles. Just get that mixed in really well. Make sure that all that butter is coated with some flour. Perfect. Let's go ahead and add the milk vinegar. Mix that in really well. Now, unlike yeast or sourdough bread, you do not want to work your biscuits too much. You just want to make sure everything is incorporated together and then leave it alone. So I'm just folding it in. Make sure all that flour has been hydrated with some of that milk mixture. Put some flour on our surface right here. Beautiful. Now we're going to push down our dough to get a nice rectangle. You can use a rolling pin if you want, but it's really not necessary. Let's fold it in thirds. Push it out a little bit more. And then fold it in thirds the opposite way. And this was the seam. I put the seam side down. And I like to keep mine in a square. I don't use a biscuit cutter. I actually just use a knife, and I cut my biscuits into squares. I have the cast iron skillet. This is just a regular size skillet. I think it's 10 inches. I do want to put butter. Just coat that whole thing bottom and sides with butter. And I'm just going to use the bench scraper. And we'll cut it in half. Cut each one of these halves in half, so I have 4. And then each one of these I'm going to cut into 3s. So we have 12 biscuits. Oven is heated up to 350 degrees, and we'll put these in the oven for about 15 minutes. I have the large cast iron skillet on the stove top, burner on. Trying to heat that skillet up before we put in our sausage. Now this was sausage we got from Lidl's when we did, I think it was a protein haul. All right, we just want to brown this sausage, and then we'll make the gravy to go with it. The sausage is nice and brown. Let's go ahead and get a roux started. So I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of flour. And then we're just going to add milk until it gets to the right consistency we want. I'm guessing about 2 cups of milk. We're going to keep an eye on that. If it's too thick, we'll add a little bit more milk. If it's too thin, we can make a slurry with cornstarch and water. We just want to heat that up nice and slow so that milk can warm up and thicken from that roux. Just go ahead and add some salt and pepper. So we're using pork sausage, so we don't need a lot of salt. We'll taste it when it gets closer to being ready. See if we need to add any more. Milk gravy has thickened up. Took all about 15 minutes. 10 minutes to cook that sausage, 5 minutes to make the gravy. Let's taste it for seasoning. Doesn't need any salt, just a pinch of pepper. I don't think we need to add any more milk. I think we are good. I'm going to just turn the burner off. Just going to set that aside. So I have a stainless skillet on the stovetop. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. I have 5 eggs. I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. And the trick for light and fluffy scrambled eggs is just a little bit of water. And we want this pan screaming hot. That will prevent the eggs from sticking. Now I'm just pushing them from outside in to the center so we can get more of the egg on the surface of the pan. Eggs have a carry-on heat that it will continue to cook once the burner's off. So you don't want to cook your eggs until they're done. You want to cook them till they're just below done and let the residual heat continue to cook them. Remove them from the pan. The eggs are done. The sausage gravy is done. Let's check on those biscuits. They are ready. So what did you have for breakfast today? We're having biscuits and gravy and eggs. After the 15 minutes for the biscuits, they weren't quite done, so I extended it for another 10 minutes. So the biscuits actually took 25 minutes. But from the time it took us to build that dough, put it in this pan and put it in the oven. And in that 25 minutes while the biscuits were cooking, we made sausage gravy. We made eggs. So simple to make a homemade breakfast. Fast and easy. And I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. We'll take a biscuit. Oh, look at the flakes in that. Beautiful. I have it open. I'll put some sausage gravy right on that biscuit. Yummy. And some eggs. Perfectly cooked. If you put water into your eggs when you're scrambling them, the water will evaporate. But in that process, it's causing air to get into the eggs. That water is boiling inside that egg mixture, and as it evaporates, it's turning into air bubbles, and it's light and fluffy. That's the reason we put water in our scrambled eggs. But we know the eggs are good. They're locally grown eggs. I get a dozen of eggs every week when I pick up the milk. Delicious. I get to meet the chickens too. That's so cool. The chickens are usually outside roaming around the yard, and they usually greet me. And our homemade biscuits with a homemade sausage gravy. The perfect southern meal. Absolutely delicious. Well, let me make a plate for the husband. Tell him to come on in here and let's get some breakfast so we can go do the things we need to do. Plus, we have to cook dinner tonight. All that chicken is gone and it's going to be good. We need to get started on dinner. So tonight we're going to have meatloaf. I've already peeled 5 pounds of potatoes that the husband picked up for me yesterday. I've already had them cooked, drained, got the butter in there, and then I ran out of steam this morning. They're actually in the refrigerator, so we still need to make the mashed potatoes. Let's go ahead and get started on the hamburger of the meatloaf. And when I was telling the husband what we were going to have for dinner, he asked, was I going to put anything on top of them? And I go, well, no, probably just make some gravy or something like that on the side. Guess what he wants? He wants that sweet chili balsamic vinegar glaze we made on the last dinner we did together. So this is also going to have the same glaze on it, but this time we're going to start it stovetop only and then put it on the meatloaf when it gets closer for it to come out. But first we need to make the meatloaf. Cast iron skillet in the oven, warming up to 350 degrees while we're assembling the meatloaf. So I have some crackers here. I'm going to take about 10. And we're going to make a panade. I think I'm saying it right. So we've got some crackers, and we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of milk. Maybe just a little bit more. We'll say 1/4 cup. We're going to set that aside for right now. So I have 1 pound of ground turkey and 1 pound of ground beef. And we're going to mix those two together. Let me wash my hands really quick. Want to make sure the crackers are all soggy and blend it very well. You can use breadcrumbs. You can actually use bread cubes. We've done that before. Just thought I'd switch it up a little bit and use crackers this time. All right, that looks good. Let's put that in here. One egg. Let's add about a quarter teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and about 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Perfect. Let's mix that together. That looks good. Wash my hands one more time, clean up my station, then we'll put it in the oven. So the cast iron skillet is hot. We're going to put a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom. Let's go ahead and shape our meat mixture into a loaf in the bowl. Just makes it easier in a hot pan. Perfect. Now we're going to put this in the oven. Keep track of time and let you know how long that takes. So I have the small saucepan on the stove. We're going to start off with about a cup of sweet chilies, and this is just a G. Hughes sweet chili sauce. Need to find a recipe, see if we can make this ourselves. And since there was just a little bit left in here, I put a quarter cup of balsamic vinegar just to swish it around to get all the goodness out. So we have a cup of sweet chili and a quarter cup of balsamic vinegar. I'm going to put this on low. Just to let it heat up and reduce just a bit and turn it to more of a syrup. So this is 5 pounds of just regular white potatoes. After I cook them, I just stuck a stick of butter in here so it can melt. Ran out of steam, like I said earlier, stuck them in the refrigerator. They are cold, but we're gonna work with them anyway. I put in a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to put about a half a cup of sour cream. Well, I'm just going to empty this container. And we're going to start with a half a cup of milk and add as we need it. Let's taste it for seasoning. It needs more salt and pepper. I'm just going to add a little bit more milk. Perfect. So let me take out some mashed potatoes that we're going to need to go with the meatloaf for tonight, plus extras for leftovers. That's going to be for dinner. And you know our new favorite frozen item is mashed potatoes. Ready to heat and eat frozen mashed potatoes. That's why I just go ahead and cook a whole bag of 5 pounds at one time. So I have the baking sheet with parchment paper. Let's go ahead and just scoop off a mound, put it right on our paper. And now I need to find room in the freezer for these. Once they're frozen, we'll put them in Ziploc bags and they're ready to heat and eat. All right, we're gonna go ahead and tempt it. It has been in there for an hour and 10 minutes. All right, we're at 155. We need to get above 165. But I do wanna remove all of this grease from the bottom. All right, we're going to put the meatloaf back into this pan, and we're going to add the sweet chili sauce and the balsamic vinegar glaze right on the top. Let's put it back in the oven until it reaches temperature. And in the meantime, I'm going to put the potatoes in the microwave just to heat those up. Plus I have a little bit of macaroni and cheese. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the stovetop to heat it up, and that's what we're having for dinner. It's been in there for an hour and 45 minutes. I did cut it open, but I would need to check to see if it's done. And we're looking for 165 degrees. Okay, family, we are done. Oven off. It's reading 172. Perfect. Do want to cut them into little slices. And that glaze smells so good. Go ahead and put some delicious glaze right on top. Beautiful. Mashed potatoes we'll put in the microwave until they're nice and hot. And the leftover macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna hand this to the husband. Let's make a plate for us. Mashed potatoes are delicious. Now the meatloaf was a pound of ground beef and a pound of breakfast sausage. We put that cracker milk panades in there, salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And the glaze is sweet chili sauce with some balsamic vinegar. That's actually really, really good. I'm glad the husband suggested that. So far we've had chicken one night, and then this morning I made breakfast with biscuits and gravy with eggs, and tonight we're having meatloaf. Can't wait to share the next meal with you. So I didn't record the third meal in this week's video because I make this so many times. There are so many videos on my channel on making Alfredo sauce. Before I went to work yesterday, I was looking in the freezer and I had some already cooked chicken that I had deboned, de-skinned, put in Ziploc bags. And then I found another bag of turkey, I'm assuming leftover from Christmas because I didn't date it, but it's okay. So I took those cooked turkey and chicken meat parts and I made an Alfredo sauce. But this time I just put it with penne. So we actually had penne Alfredo with chicken and turkey. I'll find a video that has my homemade Alfredo sauce and I'll put a link right there. Go check that out. And it'll also be in the end cards and you'll be able to see it there. But making homemade Alfredo sauce is super easy. And plus, we like having Alfredo as a leftover dinner also. And if you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you part of the Grammy family. Right over here, you're going to see 2 videos. Go check those out until the next upload. They're either going to give you a chuckle or inspire you to get into your kitchen. Get into your kitchen. Until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family.